Good morning. Good morning. I missed this move this morning. Would have been crazy. But look at this. Okay. Oh, look at that. Let's go. Oh my God. Such beauty. All right. So what do we got going on? The 1 hour absolutely collapsed on USD CAD. You can see essentially is this move here on the 1 minute. Yeah, that's interesting. The hourly, let's zoom out a bit. You know, it's in this flagging pattern, ascending triangle. So if this is the bottom of that, under, 200 moving average would actually be good on this, I think. I'll do that purple. Okay, so we swung below it here, but managed to regain it. And, we've swung below it here and managed to regain it. That was support. This is kind of a support zone that it's at. Let's put a line there. So either the 1 hour has gone bear, breaking below all these moving averages. The 200, I think that's, let's see, it's smooth. I'm not sure the difference. Let's go exponential. Okay, we're quite a bit below and hanging. I got to figure out what's the difference between the two, smooth and exponential, simple. What's simple looking like? I honestly don't know. All these are smooth moving averages. Just sort of made sense when I back tested. So anyways, typically like you're hanging below all these. You have a high here, failed to make another high. This is resistance. This starts looking bearish below the 50. Things in the bull's favor is this upward slope. So if we really break that and then retest it, I would say definitely we're going bear. But this is a bullish pattern where you have a lot of sell pressure in an area. Sellers are holding that line, but they're unable to push much further down. You slowly start getting higher. Now this has only been touched twice, so it's not really confirmed. Kind of want to see it a third time up here to say that that's the pattern. It's also kind of a flag down this way. But for now, it's holding this area. That's a strong sell. That said, indecision here on this candle, wicks here. Buyers may come back and push it right back up. On the daily, we're still in a similar kind of pattern. touch, potential rising, ascending triangle. Not seeing anything too worrisome there for the bulls anyways. You know, this could do a head and shoulders where it comes down to maybe the 21, bounces back up, maybe even resistance off this. So that would be a bearish, that would be for quite a few days. For now, this is the 1 hour. Let's break this down, move it over here. And now we are here, interesting, above the 50. This is definitely tempted, but I think I would feel more confident with a retest here. Was looking at US 30 this morning and had this note from the 1 hour, so definitely played out. I missed this. Why did I miss that? It's hard to sometimes tell if it's the retest, you know. Obviously I was here because I pulled this extension all the way to there, so you know, it was kind of a retest of at that time, it would have been like the 236 or the 382, yeah, on the wick, 382 off the 21. It's hard to tell sometimes. Now this could be reversing too if we got on the other side a this is US 30, so stocks, you know, they pump when the dollar is going down, and if the other side, if the US dollar is reversing, US dollar Canadian dollar, that would mean this potentially could also be reversing. So I've been liked it. The spread is so big. I just get in and you're already at a loss, but worth looking at. So this is a upward channel. I think these channels eventually, if you extend the lines, will touch and they will break one way or the other. I think it's usually down, and you can see we're coming out of the channel, testing the 50, which is a play I really do like. But at that extension, you know, I prefer to hit it somewhere in this area, like if this came down. So I think break the 50. You know, here we have this higher low, which is kind of right on it. So if I'll just draw it out. If we break 50 and come back and test the 50 and that last lower, higher low, we'll be getting in for sure. That's and being below the 50 down here as well. So let's see what happens here. We're breaking it for sure. You know, the retest might be this is one thing that gets me a lot is the retest actually comes, but it's much smaller and quicker than I'm kind of waiting for. Like it can just basically come up, barely tap it, and then we're going down or up. So that's on my radar. Definitely on my radar. Oh God, this heat mat on my back is pure heaven. Oh God, I love my life. This is so cool. So let's see. We'll see. I'll keep this guy over here. And likewise, this is the inverse because US dollar has been dumping, which is when US 30, the stocks are pumping, so US dollar dumping. And if we see a reversal here, test to this line and the 50, let's go. Looking at some setups here for sure. Let's take a look here. If we were to set up a buy, where are these lines? Let's probably put those on a higher time frame. Let's take a look. Yeah, so that was that low. Could also just range here, like we could be range bound at this high for quite some time. Not sure. This definitely is a potential demand zone. This line here. Trying to get a sense of where a take profit could be in case of a trade. Anywhere sort of, let's be conservative down in that area. Oh, that feels good. Time frames. Let's go back to our. People don't like to trade the 1 minute. Why not? Okay, let's just double check that that's the zone. So if we were to, let's throw our risk calculator in there. If we were to, let's test the pending order. We'll bring it down here. So it hit, that might hit there'll be many confluences. One, testing those zones, probably testing the 50. And we would put our stop loss here below this candle that broke through. This is nice too, and then moving averages are broken together. And take profit. It's below that line, risk to reward 5.4 to 1. And I also like to go from, just check where, if we're getting some resistance there, it'd be between 236. Oh, keep forgetting to edit. I don't know if I can do it while it's live, but. made the mistake yesterday of not waiting for the retest of these. And I got in on a test of the 9, and then it dumped after, and I either was a stop out or a panic sold, and then I went straight up off the exact zone. So now I just wait. If it doesn't come down and test these last highs before the breakout, then I switch and I look for a play off the 50. That's my playbook. Now over here on US 30, it looks like we did test that zone. I missed it. Might just do a little, really watching both of these right now. I don't like the spread on this. So this is what I mean. Like you can get a retest that barely looks like a retest. We're below the 50, kind of extended now for my taste, to be honest. If we come back up here, I'll probably sell a little, but I don't like that spread. Okay, here we go. You know, the retest could come in now, maybe. Sometimes it's that, sometimes it's something greater. So if this is retesting, it probably means US dollar, Canadian dollars retesting. So yeah, here we go. US 30 pumped up here and tapped the 50, which is also that zone. So I took a small position and I pull my stop loss just above, because basically usually if it just taps there, it breaks through a little bit, it's just going to keep going down unless I'm wrong, and then it goes up, and there's no point in keeping a stop loss way up here. Usually that off the 50, it breaks it just a little bit, is a pretty safe play for a tight stop loss, above this wick. So if I'm wrong, it will go straight up, and I don't want to lose a lot. But if I'm right, usually this can be a big move without a lot of risk. And here my position is I'm waiting. This one, lots of volatility. You can see that we're about below the 50 here. If I'm right on both of these trades would work. This would go down, US dollar would go up. My US dollar CAD buy wasn't hit, and maybe it's just bouncing. It's debatable. Like that's almost touching that area, so I may have missed it. And in that case, I'll wait for it to tap the 50 on the uprise. That's pretty bullish, full engulfing candle. This is an area. I might have had this buy order at the low side of this area, but it essentially came down and touched it. Touched these lows. Sorry, the highest lows, the higher highs, higher lows. So I should have been paying attention maybe. But you can see how this plays out. You don't get in up here, you wait for it to come down. And that would have been, even in that in itself, take 50%, good move with a big size. And yeah, we're working out here. This is what I mean. Like if it just breaks the 50, you can have your stop super tight, especially if momentum's driving down. Because if it's changing direction, it's going to change. There's no point in risking a lot, but usually it won't make it, and it just starts going. So this could be, it was a small size, but this can turn into being, if we can make it to this area, a little bit of profit. So maybe down to here. Don't want to get too greedy too. I mean, that was bang on. I really should have gone big on this one, which really tapped my area. But my focus was a little actually more over here on the US dollar CAD trade. So now I don't really want to keep this open, to be honest, if it's double topped. Like, so I'm going to cancel this order here. Just and on my US 30, I am going to move that to break even. No reason not to. I mean, avoidance would be a big loss, but I'd rather not lose anything. So now that US 30, maybe I'll let's bring that back again. Are we having fun? Oh, we having fun. This trade, it may be worth adding to. I'm not gonna, I tested it with a small size. we get a good rejection off the 50 again, somewhere in this area. Let's pull the Fibonacci. Say the 382, come into the 382, 50. We could go big then. Let's go. Now this, with that double top, I feel less. I'll maybe take a small bite at it if we get back here to this area. But usually, like if you're moving, if the momentum's on your side, you're moving pretty hard like this. You can see it came back and tested. A double top would have been or double bottom reversing here, but it tested, drove down, maybe come up, test the 382, drove down. So it's directional, like you can see on this whole uptrend, we weren't getting a double top anywhere. So, if you miss this, you're going for the retest, miss that retest. I suppose that's double topped, but if it doesn't feel right, it ain't. It's my new mantra. And so here we are pushing back. I won't really add unless we really get back to this 50 or, my stop loss could get hit. But my theory with stop losses is with these trading the 1 minute, if you're really moving in a direction, you can afford to have it tight. Like, let's say you got in whatever, I don't know. This is not really where I would get in, but say you got in here, you can put your stop loss right below this candle or right below this moving average, because it's not going to, if it is going to go in your direction, it's not going to come back to it. Does that make sense? Whereas if it's not going to go in your direction, it's going to stop you out. You didn't lose very much. You can see when it's really moving. That's what I'm looking for, is these moves where it doesn't even come back. Like here, this maybe is a retest of something. Okay, like get in here and put your stop loss right below the 20 to 21, and you can see it never comes back. Never. If it does, it was just going in the wrong direction. Okay, so I got stopped out, lost nothing. And this could be a play. We could still get in here for a downward movement. This probably means the US dollar, the Canadian dollar is coming. I could take this again. Not only is it double top, it's slightly lower. Slightly lower. So we could be losing here, the US dollar rally, and that would mean US 30 would be going in the opposite direction, which would be up and against what I just thought. So I think because this double top on the US dollar, I think for that reason, I'm a little hesitant on taking a short on US 30, because US 30 might be pumping, actually. As you can see, that off the 50 could be a good sell, but the clue I'm getting here from the US Canadian dollar is it may not be. And if we go to a higher time frame, I do believe, yeah, we're in this uptrend, so maybe that's pretty extended in this uptrend on this hour. Pretty extended indeed. Much rather snipe closer to a moving average. It's all puzzle, what's what. But really get yourself a few really good trades a week, and you're going to pass this thing. honey and ginger. So if the US dollar is at a double top and coming down, that should mean US 30 in general is going to be breaking up. And on the hourly, it's a bit extended though. You know, it's a bull. This is bullish in the 1 hour. You see it's a clear uptrend. It's also quite a ways away from these moving averages. Typically, you'll come back to the mean. Like these are averages, right? So the mean you pump up, but this can go sideways too. So it could just be sideways on the hourly. Let's get these fibs out of here. You know? So let's call uptrend is still bullish. But could be this is kind of scenario where you're like hanging on a cliff there. You can take a sell and put your stop like right above, because it's either going to really go or reverse. And if it reverses, there's not a lot of risk there. I mean, it's, this could be a head and shoulders. But this, hanging below all these moving averages, unable to break back above the 50. The fact that it's, although it's in an uptrend on the 1 hour, it's pretty extended off the moving averages. I feel like, yeah, you shouldn't trade against the trend. But that's why I did a small size. I could really break this down and break even and take zero risk on this. Wants to wick me out, go ahead. And I do that. Because we're in a bullish trend on the 1 hour. Let's see, I think it's nicer to get in on up here. So here we are. I think there's just some indecision, really, to be honest. Like, this is the 1 minute, so I bet you the half an hour we just see a big. Yeah, exactly. Kind of, what are those called? I forget. There's lots of indecision. So this kind of is becoming like a possible symmetrical triangle, maybe. So we'll wait to see if the apex, if it breaks up or down. we could get a touch of the 50, up in this area. And US 30 is still looking bearish on the 1 minute. Oh, so, and it's extended on the hour. I just have faith that one of these days I'm going to hit this setup. Boom. And it's going to take me far. There's no doubt. No doubt.
Believe that ye receive them, and ye shall have them. Mark 11:24. In this parable, he shows that only those who are prepared for their good, thereby
I like to do this too, dragging the
will bring the
fib,
manifestation to pass.
keeping the same level, but looking where
We
it
might
corresponds
paraphrase the scripture and
left.
say,
So
when
you
ye
can see
pray,
that's the
believe
kind
ye
of
have it.
resistance.
When ye pray, act as if
Okay,
you
so we're
already
really
received
tanking
it.
here.
Armchair faith, or rocking chair faith, will never move mountains. In the armchair, in the silence or meditation, you are filled with the wonder of this truth, and feel that your faith will never waver. You know that the Lord is your shepherd, you shall never want.
Could also be
You
flagging.
feel
We might just
your
be
God
going a
is able
sideways
to
pattern
wipe
here,
out
to
the
be
burdens
honest.
of debt or limitations. Then you leave your armchair and step out into the arena
Could be a
of life.
sideways day.
It is only what you do in the arena that counts. I will give you an illustration showing how the law works, for faith without action is dead. A man, one of my students, had a great desire to go abroad. He took the statement, I give thanks for my divinely designed trip, divinely financed under grace in a perfect way. He had very little money, but knowing the law of preparation, he bought a trunk. It was a very gay and happy trunk with a big red band around its waist. Whenever he looked at it, it gave him a realization of the trip. One day he seemed to feel his room moving. He felt the motion of a ship. He went to the window to breathe the fresh air, and it smelt like the aroma of the docks. With his inner ear, he heard the shriek of a sea gull and the crackling of the gangplank. The trunk had commenced to work. It had put him in the vibration of his trip. Soon after that, a large sum of money came to him, and he took the trip. He said afterwards that it was perfect in every detail. In the arena of life, we must keep ourselves tuned up to concert pitch. Are we acting from motives of fear or faith? Watch your motives with all diligence, for out of them are the issues of life. If your problem is a financial one, and it usually is, you must know how to wind yourself up financially and keep wound up by always acting your faith. The material attitude towards money is the trust in your salary, your income, and investments, which can shrink overnight. The spiritual attitude towards money is to trust in God for your supply. To keep your possessions, always realize that they are God in manifestation. What Allah has given cannot be diminished. Even if one door shuts, another door immediately opens. Never voice lack or limitation, for by your words you are condemned. You combine with what you notice, and if you are always noticing failure in hard times, you will combine with failure in hard times. You must form the habit of living in the fourth dimension, the world of the wonders. It is a world where you do not judge by appearances. You have trained your inner eye to see through failure into success, to see through sickness into health, to see through limitation into plenty. I will give thee the land which thou seest. The man who achieves success has the fixed idea of success. If it is founded on a rock of truth and rightness, it will stand. If not, it is built upon sand and washed into the sea, returning to its native nothingness. Only divine ideas can endure. Evil destroys itself, for it is a cross current against universal order, and the way of the transgressor is hard. They that were foolish took their lamps, and took no oil with them. But the wise took oil in their vessels with their lamps. The lamp symbolizes man's consciousness. The oil is what brings light or understanding. While the bridegroom tarried, They all slumbered and slept. And at midnight there was a cry made, Behold, the bridegroom cometh, go ye out to meet him. Then all those virgins arose, and trimmed their lamps. And the foolish said unto the wise, Give us your oil, for our lamps are gone out. The foolish virgins were without wisdom or understanding, which is oil for the consciousness. And when they were confronted with a serious situation, they had no way of handling it. And when they said to the wise, Give us of your oil, the wise answered, saying, Not so, lest there be not enough for us and you. But go ye rather to them that sell and buy for yourselves. That means that the foolish virgins could not receive more than was in their consciousness, or what they were vibrating to. The man received the trip because it was in his consciousness as a reality. He believed he had already received. As he prepared for the trip, he was taking oil for his lamps, without realization of his manifestation. The law of preparation works both ways. If you prepare for what you fear or don't want, you begin to attract it. David said, The thing I feared has come upon me. We hear people say, I must put away money in case of illness. They are deliberately preparing to be ill. Or I'm saving for a rainy day. The rainy day is sure to come at a most inconvenient time. The divine idea for every man is plenty. Your barns should be full and your cup should flow over. But we must learn to ask aright. For example, take this statement. I call on the law of accumulation. My supply comes from God and now pours in and piles up under grace. This statement does not give any picture of stint or saving or sickness. It gives a fourth dimensional feeling of abundance, leaving the channels of infinite intelligence. Every day you must make a choice. Will you be wise or foolish? Will you prepare for your good? Will you take the giant swing into faith, or serve doubt and fear and bring no oil for your lamps? And while they went to buy, the bridegroom came, and they that were ready went in with him to the marriage, and the door was shut. Afterward came also the other virgins, saying, Lord, Lord, open to us. But he answered and said, Verily I say unto you, I know you not. You may feel that the foolish virgins paid very dearly for neglecting to bring oil for their lamps, but we are dealing with the law of karma, or the law of comeback. It has been called the Judgment Day, which people usually associate with the end of the world. Your judgment day comes, they say, in sevens, 7 hours, 7 days, 7 weeks, 7 months, or 7 years. It might even come in 7 minutes. Then you pay some karmic debt, the price for having violated spiritual law. You failed to trust God. You took no oil for your lamps. Every day examine your consciousness and see just what you are preparing for. You are fearful of lack and hang on to every cent, thereby attracting more lack. Use what you have with wisdom, and it opens the way for more to come to you. In my book, Your Word is Your Wine, I tell you about the magic purse. In the Arabian Nights, we tell the story of a man who had a magic purse. As money went out, immediately money appeared in it again. So I made the statement, my supply comes from God. I have the magic purse of the Spirit. It can never be depleted. As money goes out, immediately money comes in. It is always crammed, jammed with abundance, under grace and perfect ways. This brings a vivid picture to mind. You are drawing on the bank of the imagination. A woman who did not have much money was afraid to pay any bills and see her bank account dwindle. It came to her with great conviction. I have a magic purse of the Spirit. It can never be depleted. As money goes out immediately, money comes in. She fearlessly paid her bills, and several large checks came to her that she did not expect. Watch and pray, lest ye enter into the temptation of preparing for something destructive instead of something constructive. I knew a woman who told me she always kept a long crepe veil handy in case of funerals. I said to her, You are a menace to your relatives and are preparing to hurry them all off so that you can wear the veil. She destroyed it. Another woman who had no money decided to send her two daughters to college. Her husband scorned the idea and said, "Who will pay their tuition? I have no money for it." She replied, "I know some unforeseen good will come to us." She kept on preparing her daughters for college. Her husband laughed heartily and told all their friends that his wife was sending the girls to college on some unforeseen good. A rich relative suddenly sent her a large sum of money. Some unforeseen good did arrive, or she had shown active faith. I asked what she had said to her husband when the check arrived. She replied, "Oh, I never antagonize George by telling him I am in the right." So prepare for your unforeseen good. Let every thought and every act express your unwavering faith. Every event in your life is a crystallized idea, something you have invited through either fear or faith, something you have prepared for. So let us be wise and bring oil for our lamps, and when we least expect it, we shall reap the fruits of our faith. My lamps are now filled with the oil of faith and fulfillment. Chapter 4. What do you expect? According to your faith, be it unto you. Matthew 9:29. Faith is your expectancy. According to your faith, be it unto you. We might say, according to your expectancies, be it done unto you. So what are you expecting? We hear people say, we expect the worst to happen, or the worst is yet to come. They are deliberately inviting the worst to come. We hear others say, I expect a change for the better. They are inviting better conditions into their lives. Change your expectancies, and you change your conditions. How can you change your expectancies when you have formed the habit of expecting loss, lack, or failure? Begin to act as if you expected success, happiness, and abundance. Prepare for your good. Do something to show you expect it to come. Active faith alone will impress the subconscious. If you have spoken the word for a home, prepare for it immediately, as if you hadn't a moment to lose. Collect little ornaments, tablecloths, etc., etc. I know a woman who made the giant swing into faith by buying a large armchair. A chair meant business. She bought a large and comfortable chair, for she was preparing for the right man. He came. Someone will say, suppose you haven't money to buy ornaments or a chair. Then look in shop windows and link with them in thought. Get in their vibration. I sometimes hear people say, I don't go into shops because I can't afford to buy anything. That is just the reason why you should go into the shops. Begin to make friends with the things you desire or require. I know a woman who wanted a ring. She went boldly to the ring department and tried on rings. It gave her such a realization of ownership that not long after, a friend made her a gift of a ring. You combine with what you notice. Keep on noticing beautiful things, and you make an invisible contact. Sooner or later, these things are drawn into your life, unless you say, for me, too good to be true. My soul, wait thou only upon God, for my expectation is from him. This is a most important statement from the 62nd Psalm. The soul is the subconscious mind, and the psalmist was telling his subconscious to expect everything directly from the universal, not to depend upon doors and channels. My expectations is from him. God cannot fail, for his ways are ingenious, his methods are sure. You can expect any seemingly impossible good from God if you do not limit the channels. Do not say how you want it done or how it can't be done. God is the giver in the gift and creates his own amazing channels. Take the following statement. I cannot be separated from God, the giver. Therefore, I cannot be separated from God, the gift. The gift is God in action. Get the realization that every blessing is God in action, and see God in every face and God in every situation. This makes you the master of all conditions. A woman came to me saying that there was no heat in the radiators in their apartment, and that her mother was suffering from a cold. She added, The landlord has declared that we can't have heat until a certain date. I replied, God is your landlord. She said, that's all I want to know, and rushed out. That evening, the heat was turned on without asking. It was because she realized that the landlord was God in manifestation. This is a wonderful age, for people are becoming miracle-minded. It is in the air. Quoting from an article which I found in a New York journal, An American by John Anderson, it corroborates what I've just said. The title of the article is Theater-Goers Make Hits of Metaphysical Plays. If, said the cynical manager, with a slight accent of sarcasm in his voice, the other night on the intermission curbside talk, you fellas, meaning the critics, know so much about what New York public wants. Why don't you tell me what to produce? Why don't you tell me what sort of play the playgoers want to see? I would, I said, but you wouldn't believe it. You're hedgy, he said. You don't know, and you're trying to cover up by pretending to know more than you're willing to say. You haven't any idea than I have this minute what sort of plays generally succeed. I have, I said. There's one surefire success, one theme that works and has always worked, whether it is competing with boy meets girl, mysteries, historical tragedies, etc. No play on the theme has ever completely failed if it had no merit at all, and a lot of poor ones have been big hits. You're stalling again, said Mr. Pendleton. What sort of plays are they? Metaphysical, I said, falling slightly with a big word and waiting silently for the effect. Metaphysical, said Mr. Pemberton. You mean metaphysical? I paused a moment, and since Mr. Pemberton said nothing, went right on spouting such titles as The Green Pastures, The Star Wagon, Father Malachi, Miracle, etc. Some of these, I added, reached the public over the heads of the critics. But Mr. Pemberton had departed to ask probably in every theater in town, is there a metaphysician in the house? People are beginning to realize the power of their words and thoughts. They understand why faith is the substance of the things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. We see the law of expectancy working out through superstition. If you walk under a ladder and expect it to give you bad luck, it will give you bad luck. The ladder is quite innocent. Bad luck came because you expected it. We might say expectancy is the substance of the things hoped for, or expectancy is the substance of the thing man fears. The thing I expected has come upon me. Nothing is too good to be true. Nothing is too wonderful to happen. Nothing is too good to last when you look to God for your good. Now think of the blessings which seem so far off, and begin to expect them now under grace in an unexpected way. For God works in unexpected ways. His wonders to perform. I was told that there are 3,000 promises in the Bible.
I forgot I was streaming.
Expect all these blessings to come to pass.
Anyways.
Among them, we are promised riches and honor, eternal youth. Your flesh shall become as a little child's,